across the waking sea is uneventful. You make it back to Kirkwall, and you go your separate ways. You've got a lot of planning to do. Getting an audience with the King of Ferelden is... I mean, honestly, you were expecting it to be hard, but because Ren knows everyone, Ren knows, like, 3 of the most important people on Thedas now. So it's not as hard as he thought it would be. And, like, basically, Ren sent, like, a really short 1-page letter to Alistair, like, hey, buddy, this is going to sound crazy.
But it's me.
And Alistair sent back, like, a 40-page letter, like, that was basically 90% holy fucking shit. And then the other 10% was, yes, come to Ferelden as soon as you can. I will make room for you.
It's just like 92-point font, like, how are you alive?
What the fuck happened? And you all have some interesting dreams that night. So, Elian, what occurs to you first about this dream is that it almost doesn't feel like a dream. You have gotten connected enough to compassion at this point that, like, if he wants to, he can just have full reign of your dreams. Just like, he doesn't have to try. He's really deep in there at this point, and he can pretty much do whatever he wants to.
Don't like that, the way you said that.
He doesn't generally, because he's compassion. He's very nice, and he doesn't want to spook you or anything.
Appreciate that.
But he can, if he wants to. And you notice that right away, because as soon as you fall asleep, you are in your dream. You are immediately aware that you are in a dream. And you are sitting at a table across from Compassion, and he says, oh, hey.
Hey.
So, I got a little bit to talk about. Just a little bit. He's wringing his hands together nervously. He says, so the thing about saving Maevaris from the Blight, you said it was called, right?
That's right. What's going on?
He says, well, I mean, it's kind of a good news, bad news situation that I've got going for you. The good news is that I do think the ritual, my panacea ritual, will work for this. It's really the only thing that could possibly work, because this blight, you call it, he says, and he sort of stands up and he walks down the table toward you, says, it affects the soul directly, and the panacea spell is really the only thing that could possibly work to cure her, but there are a couple caveats that you should be aware of with this spell. If it progresses too much farther, there's going to be some pretty substantial damage to Maevaris. The panacea will work, but the spirit that we summon, it will have to replace pretty significant portions of the soul that was destroyed. It will be Maevaris, but it will also be an infusion of whatever spirit that agrees to sacrifice itself to help her.
How soon do you think we could do it in that case?
I mean, theoretically, we could do it as soon as you get back to Minrathous. All we need is a basic summoning circle, a couple experienced mages, thank you, to keep watch and make sure nothing goes wonky. But it might be a little bit difficult to find a spirit willing to sacrifice itself to save a mortal. It's not impossible, but it's going to be difficult. And he says, I can't perform the ritual, or I can tell you how to perform it.
Elian finds that bonkers.
He says, which is why I was going to offer, the best thing might be to, if you're comfortable, let me possess you to perform it.
Comfortable's a strong word, but I'll think about it.
Okay. Well, like I said, time is ticking. This is a very progressive and vile disease. I've been able to tell that just from looking at her. So the sooner the better. And failing that, I can implant knowledge of the ritual directly into your head.
I mean, that'd be helpful so I can explain it to Cassandra, but how would we even start looking for a spirit?
You'd have to start the ritual to do that. The glyph that I use in the panacea, it is very specific and depending on how much lyrium you use, there's a whole thing. It calls out into the Fade for you and summons any nearby spirits who might be willing to do this thing.
I appreciate you using small words to explain that to me.
I'm doing my best. I'm a quick learner.
Same can't be said for me in this case. Sorry, humor. Reflex.
No, it's okay. I get it. And I know you're not comfortable with it, but I really think the best thing to do would be to let me perform the spell through you. Like I said, I can implant knowledge directly into your head, but you're still going to have to explain it third hand to Cassandra or any other mage. And I'm the one who designed the panacea.
Is it something that you could explain to Cassandra? Or to one of the others? If we can, I don't know.
Maybe. Like I said, it would still be secondhand.
I guess.
It's up to you. I'm not going to take control of your body without your consent. That seems a little iffy. But just know it's on the table. I have done this procedure before. It was a long time ago, but I made the thing, so I know how it works.
I'll have to tell Cass and get her opinion. And it's not like we can do anything until we get back there anyway, but...
And the same goes for any subsequent attempts we make on Leander's ritual.
I hadn't thought about that. I mean, I thought about the ritual, but I hadn't thought about the idea of you performing it through me.
Yeah. Not to, brag or anything, but I am the most talented healer I know. Don't get me wrong, Maveris seems great, but,
You have several millennia on her, is that what you're saying?
I've got several millennia, and y'all have forgotten a lot about magic in the interim, so... He says, it's something to think about, but don't think about it too long, especially with Maveris. The clock is ticking.
I really don't like the idea, but maybe.
So Cassandra, all that stuff that I said about Elian and Compassion being close enough now that he basically has free reign in his head, same as kind of the same with you and Faith.
Mm-hmm.
You're well enough connected that she can do pretty much anything she wants in your head. But just like Compassion, she doesn't. She's not that kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of at a long table, when you fall asleep that night in your bed in Minrethis, you are underneath one of the orange trees out in the back of the Pavis estate. And Faith is sitting across from you, legs crossed, picking at the grass in front of her, and she says, "Okay, so I have a prophecy."
I just sort of tilt my head yes.
She says, "I've been, ever since I became cognizant again of the world around me, ever since I got thrown into your body, I've been trying to, determine what the end game for all of this is with me and my friends and everything. The sands of time can be hard to navigate, but from what I understand," she sighs and she says, one of the spirits that is possessing you and your friends, one of us is gonna die."
I definitely take a moment to process that and just... I see.
But one of us is gonna stay as well. And one of us, we're gonna turn into something else.
When you say stay, you mean stay connected to us like this?
Yes. Stay possessed. Or possessing, I suppose.
And one will become something else?
Yes.
I hope that something else is good and not demonic.
Yeah, I hope that too.
I can think of so many something else's that could happen.
Well, it's good to know at least some sort of direction or how things will turn out.
Yeah. And she says, "Listen, Cassandra, if it ends up being me, if I'm the one who ends up dying, I want you to know that really liked being with you. You've been super nice and understanding, even when you didn't have a lot of reason to be in. Thank you very much for helping me and, everything. I appreciate it.
That definitely, despite the fact that they share a body, is, still surprising. Cass just sort of blinks and is just like, oh, I don't feel like I did anything in particular to help you, but...
Just letting me in was a really big help. Letting me see the world around you, let me get my bearings in your world. It's helped a lot, and I really appreciate it in case we don't see each other again.
Oh, that is good to know. Not seeing you again, that's not good, but it is a possibility that now that we are aware of that. How exactly what happens when a spirit like you dies?
She says, well, like I said, I'm not really a spirit. I'm a soul. When spirits die, their essence gets transmuted into pure magic, and depending on the strength of the idea that gave them form and consciousness, they could be reborn, although they would be a different person. Souls. She sighs and she says, I don't know what happens. Your guess is as good as mine. That's really the area of religion, not so much magic.
For what it's worth, I hope. I mean, I don't want anybody to die, but I also hope it's not you.
Thanks, I guess. I hope you don't die.
I mean, it's very sweet from Cassandra.
She's pulling the grass anxiously between her fingers and sort of every now and then stealing glances up at you. And it is up. Even sitting down, you are several heads taller.
Right? Yeah, she looks all the way up, yeah. And then I'm just watching her is there something else?
Oh, no, that's all.
How does knowing this make you feel?
Oh, I'm used to doomsday prophecies and stuff. That's one of the worst things about being an augury. You see all the bad stuff before it happens, and sometimes you can't even tell people about it because if you did, it would affect the outcome.
That makes sense. But this particular prophecy affects you directly.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Thank you for telling me. And there's really nothing we can do except wait for it to come to pass, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. She kind of looks up at you again, and then it lingers a little bit longer, and then she looks down. She says, I'm sure May will be very happy with you.
I feel like Cass was smiling, trying to smile. She's being all soft at this point, and then that smile definitely falters and is yes, that thing I saw in the Fade. I want that. I want her to live and for her to be happy.
I understand. You obviously care about her a lot, and I'm sure you'll be very good for each other.
I can only hope.
Sabre? Sabre, how are you?
I was sleeping pretty well.
Yeah? So like faith, like compassion, Justice has gotten close enough to you now that he can control your dreams. For you, he chooses that camp with the Airvels with the purple sails. That's not quite Clan Sabre, not quite Clan Llewellyn. And it's empty. He is sitting next to you in front of the big bonfire and set up in the middle of the camp. And he says, look, I know you've gotten some pretty bad news over the last couple months. And I'm not super eager to add to that pile.
And yet here we are.
He says. He kind of leans back on his palms and he stares up. Through the canopy of trees, you can just barely make out a couple scattered stars. And he says, just brace yourself, all right? This isn't going to be easy.
Okay.
So, the Archdemon. Tell me, tell me how you understand an archdemon before I explain this, so I can get the right context.
I mean, I don't know a lot about magic, but I mean, the stories that we were always told is that they were the old gods that were cast into the ground and become demons as a result.
Okay. He says, I guess I should open by saying that's not accurate.
Of course not.
Of course it isn't.
He says, the reason I recognized the spirit that was possessing your brother is because I spent several centuries rebelling against her and her kind. He says, what you know as the archdemon, I know as the Evan Ures Gillenane.
Oh, that's not good. That sounds familiar.
It does. It should sound familiar. Gillenane is the elven goddess of the Hala, the mother of the Hala, the goddess of navigation, among other things. Your brother is Valisleen, honors Gillenane.
Ah, that's what it is. Yep, I remember looking at that. So wait, is he saying that the archdemons are the old elven gods?
Yeah, you don't.
Oh no,
you don't connect it in your head immediately, but you slowly realize he's talking. People always assumed that the archdemons were the old gods of Tevinter, but he's saying no. Actually, they're the old elven gods, is what they are.
So actually, you're saying that the Shemlin gods are actually the elfin?
He says, apparently this culture, this Tevinter, stole everything from elves, among them their gods.
I think I just start laughing hysterically. Of course. Of fucking course.
Of course.
I mean, they steal everything else. Why wouldn't they steal this too?
And I love the hysteria, but bear in mind, this is also kind of horrible.
No, it's not good. I think he's horrified. He's just this is how he's coping with it right now.
Yeah. Hysteria is not necessarily good laughter.
He's just sort of bitterly laughing to himself as he's just can't wait. Landon's gonna fucking love this. Oh, he's gonna love it. Oh god. I just sort of sit down heavily on the floor, the Dirium floor, with my head in my hands. I'm like, how am I supposed to tell how did they?
Justice says, I promise you, Sapere, I don't know. The last thing I remember is a huge explosion, apparently the one that destroyed Arlathan. I think you said your legend said that they were imprisoned, right? That your maker cast them into the earth?
Yes.
Maybe, time has twisted how we remember Valisleen. Maybe time also twisted those legends. Maybe there's some kernel of truth to them. Maybe they were imprisoned somehow. Solus did say he had a plan to destroy them once and for all, but he refused to tell us what.
Perhaps this was his solution. This sounds like a Solus thing to do, I suppose.
He says, I can't even begin to imagine. Don't get me wrong, Solus obviously made a dire choice, creating the Veil like he did, and destroying Arlathan. But the Blight, he says, I've never seen anything like the Blight. It frightens me to think that he may have created that, too.
I'm not a scholar. We need to talk to somebody who knows what the implications of all of this are.
He puts a hand on your back, he says, Are you alright? I know this is a lot.
I just sort of sit there. No, how could I possibly be alright? There's just sort of a bitter laugh that bubbles up again. And I think he just sort of looks up at me slowly and says, over the last couple of months, everything I know has been cast into doubt. And not just cast into doubt, but turned on its head. How could I possibly be alright?
He scoots a little bit closer to you, and he's still got his hand on your back, and he says, listen, the ancient Elvenon, it had its flaws, I grant you. The thing that the Dalish are trying so desperately to recreate was, in some ways, incredibly ugly and horrible. But there were good things about the ancient Elvenon, too. He said, Arlathan itself Can you imagine a massive tree made of crystal with twining spiral staircases lifting up into the sky, held aloft by pure magic? The elves, we were immortal, not because of any spell that we'd cast on ourselves, but by the nature of the magic that sustained us.
That sounds... it sounds impossible to imagine, almost.
And I'm sorry that you had to learn all of this, but it wasn't all bad. Just keep that in mind. For everything the Dalish have gotten wrong, I've seen your Arlethen, I've seen your people. They are strong and they are good, and they are the best parts of the Elvenon that I remember.
I think I'm like tearing up. I don't know. This is emotional. It's been a lot going on, and
I think Justice pulls you into a hug.
Oh, I definitely hug Justice back, and I'm just sort of like, as I pull away, I'm just like, I just don't know how I'm gonna tell anyone else. How can I possibly break their hearts just like this is breaking mine?
He says, I can do it for you if you really insist.
No, we should be in this together.
He nods, and he pats your back reassuringly, and he says, it's gonna be, I want to say all right, but I don't know. It could go horribly wrong.
Probably will.
These blights could destroy the world. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, you've got a pretty good head start.
I'm like thinking back on it now. I'm like, are you saying that I tried to stab Gillenane in the eye?
Yeah.
Oh. Probably wouldn't have done that if I'd known.
That's a big lie.
Right?
Would you, though?
Just, it seems like a bad idea.
Now it seems like a bad idea. Now. Specifically now.
Occasionally the
brain cells kick in retroactively.
Honestly, no, he still doesn't regret trying to stab the archdemon. It's just that now that he knows it's one of the old elven gods, that's where he's starting to feel like it was a problem. Like, it still kind of feels like heresy.
You are back in Minrathis now, and you wake up, and where do you go?
I think immediately to Cass's room, because clock is ticking.
Elian, you open the door to Cassandra's room, and you see something kind of interesting. You see Cassandra lying on her bed, obviously. She's got the sheet on and everything. She's fast asleep. Underneath her bed, there is a glowing blue rune drawn onto the floor. And standing over her is a very surprised Olivier.
What?
Yeah, like, excuse me?
I would like Cassandra and Elian to roll initiative, please.
What?
Great.
Oh,
The
what?
fuck?
So even though we are technically in initiative order, but that said, you know almost nothing at this particular moment, Elian.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have a turn to do with what you will. And I believe talking is still a free action in this game. So what do you want to do?
I'm still asleep.
Yes, you are.
That's...
What are you doing? Get away from her.
He is holding a book that you recognize. It's the one he brought with him from the Templar headquarters in Valrayo. He looks down at the book, looks at Cassandra, and then looks over his shoulder like he is considering bolting out the window. So again, I ask you, Elian, do you want to use any part of your turn?
I mean, if he sees him looking at the window like he's gonna bolt for it, he's gonna try to tackle him.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to hit. Just a regular roll to hit with your dexterity as a modifier.
Ooh.
Unbelievable.
The one time it matters, yes!
The one time. Oh, bullshit. You have been
Yeah,
rolling
you passed
supernaturally
everything. Shut
well,
up.
Val. Fuck you. Bitch, every time you roll anything, you get like a 15 plus. Fuck you. You're fine. 20. Fuck you. All right, fine. Elliot, you tackle Olivier to the floor. You take him by surprise because you rolled a fucking 20. Unbelievable. He is now restrained. Cassandra, go ahead and roll just... How do we want to... roll 1d20, and with the shouting and the sound of a body hitting the floor, the number that you are trying to hit is 8.
Okay, just straight 1d20.
Just straight 1d20. Okay. With an 11, you wake up. Yep, you are lying in bed. You are still kind of sleepy. Elliot has tackled Olivier to the floor. What the fuck is he doing?
I just sort of like blink at both of them like, what's going on?
He was doing something. There's a rune under your bed. I don't understand what's going on, but
I definitely like scramble up like out of the bed and immediately go to look at what's going on.
So you use a minor action to stand up. You look down at and yep, there is indeed a glowing, well, it's not glowing anymore because Olivier has been tackled. His spellcasting has been interrupted. There's a glowing blue rune underneath your bed. And that seems to check out. So what do? You have a major action left if you want to do something.
Yeah, I mean, he's restrained. There's really not a lot I can do. Nope, yeah, there's really not a lot I can do other than...
talk?
Yeah, and be like, what are you doing in my room? How'd you even get here?
Do you do anything else?
No, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm too sleepy.
Okay. Olivier casts a Mind Blast. I need both of you...
God damn it.
Well, he needs to roll. Is a hit. So I need both of you to roll Strength Might.
Yeah, this'll be funny.
Oh, Elliot!
I mean, I am, like, right on top of him.
That's true. You were also very twinky.
Okay, so both of you are knocked prone, and you cannot take major actions on your next turn. Except for you, Cassandra, you are just knocked prone. Elian, you have lost your major action next turn.
Okay.
With his minor action, since you are now knocked prone and off of him, Elian, Olivier stands up. And Elian, you are back to the top of the order. You only have a minor action or 2 minor actions if you want.
Okay, let's see.
Can't just have a good morning, huh? Can't just wake up, have
not.
breakfast. Can't go talk to my girlfriend. Might I recommend stabbing? No, I'm just kidding.
I can't stab.
He doesn't have a major action.
That's right, you don't have a major action.
I can ready. Or...
You are also prone. Keep that in mind.
Right, that's right. Both of us are prone.
Okay, so standing up is a minor action, so I could stand up and then ready or prepare, I guess.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
I guess.
Okay. Elian, you stand up and you reach for, I assume, a rapier or a throwing knife or something.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have a major action, so you can't do anything with it.
Yep.
Cassandra, it is your turn. What do you do?
Okay, I still have a major action?
You do, yes. But you are knocked prone, so you have...
Yeah, so first I gotta not be prone, so I gotta stand up and fucking hit that dude. Like, what are you doing? Like, still mad that I just woke up and there's all this shit going down in my room.
You're the one who said you were military. You should be used to immediately fighting.
Exactly. Immediately, and I don't even need my staff either, so it don't matter. I will not ask you again, Olivier, what are you doing here?
He does not answer. What do you do?
It's happening. I will attack him.
Roll to hit. You are trying to hit a 12.
Okay. Let me see here. I don't have combat magic ready right now, so it says... Okay, so I guess heavy blades is strength. That's gonna be cool.
A 10 is not a hit, Cassandra.
Mm.
So you swing your magical sword, and Olivier deftly dodges out of the way. It is now Olivier's turn. He is going to use the minor action to move toward the window, and a second minor action to throw open the window and climb out climb on outside. Elian, you are up. He is now obscured by the window.
Grab him!
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm gonna run to the window and try to grab him.
Okay. Make another roll to hit. You're trying to hit a 12. You grapple him again.
Yay.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I'm definitely yelling, like, is anybody outside?
Yeah, I was like, I'm not sure how close we all are.
You're in Kirkwall, actually, Sabre.
Oh.
Whoops.
You can't scream that loudly, Cassandra.
Definitely don't hear.
I'm just like, who else is awake? In Minrathis.
When in doubt, yell Dorian.
Yeah.
So you are in bullet time. Do you want to do anything else, Elian? I ask you again.
Okay, well, I can do press the attack. You stand ready to pursue an enemy if they should fall back or flee.
Yep, you can press the attack, try to follow him if he flees, although the direction he is fleeing is down a 2-flight drop.
Right, out the window.
So just be aware of that. If you decide to press the attack, you are pressing the attack out the window.
Stand firm is a good one. Resist all efforts to move you, like as in pulling you out the window.
Okay, fair.
That's a minor action.
Any enemy who uses the skirmish or knock prone stunts to move you or knock you to the ground must succeed an opposed test. Okay. Alright. That's fine, you can use that if you'd like. Who's up next? Cassandra, you're up next. Olivier is half hanging out the window. Elian is holding onto him for dear life. You do not have a clear line of sight to him. What do you do?
I can see Elian though, so yeah, I'm gonna go to Elian and like try to pull both of them back in.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I have my sword out, it missed, and like she doesn't particularly want to fight him because like there's no reason for her right now.
Don't want to fight him, you just swung at him with a broadsword.
That's true, she did, yeah. He didn't answer my question. It's fine.
Therefore, violence is justified.
I'm sorry, do you kill people whenever they don't respond to you?
Well, also, I don't want to hit Elian, because I can't see. I don't have a clear view to Olivier anyway. Really, all of my attacks are ranged anyway, so... yeah, well, first of all, I need to move, because I don't have clear sight of him, so I'm just going to move, at least so I can see where he and Elian are at, like... Is my friend going to be pulled out the window or not? And then I think I will use Arcane Lance, at least. That is a pretty decent spell.
What happened to I have no reason to fight him, Cassandra? What happened to that? Just wondering, just trying to keep it ideologically pure is all I'm saying.
I'm reading. I'm not listening to you right now. There's really, I mean, like, what the fuck else am I supposed to do?
That's a great question. It's almost like I designed this encounter to be extremely difficult for you to capture him.
Right, exactly. It's almost like you did that. Yeah. God, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna attack him then. Since, like, you're trying to pull him and he's trying to get away, yeah, I'll just try to attack him and do Arcane Lance.
Go ahead and roll. 14 is better than what's it, TN? 12? Or is it an attack roll? Like you're trying to beat an AC? Or
This is resolved like a normal ranged attack. The attack roll is an Arcane Lance test.
Okay, if it's resolved like a normal range, then the normal range attack, then yes, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay, so 1d6 plus 2.
Hit for 7 damage, which is not enough to kill him, unsurprisingly.
Right.
Anything else you want to do? You used your minor action to move.
Yeah, I moved closer, yeah, exactly, to see him.
Alright, it's Olivier's turn. He is going to cast Mind Blast again.
Oh boy.
16. Okay, that is a hit. So, Elian, make a Strength Might test.
Okay.
Versus a 15. Nope. You are knocked prone again, and you lose your major action again. And Olivier drops away from the window, and you hear a thud, but nothing further. Right at this moment, the door flies open. Dorian is standing in the threshold. What happened?
Olivier was casting something, and he just went out the window!
Dorian heads to the window to look out, and as he does, he can see Olivier vaulting kind of impressively, honestly, over the garden fence and out into the city of Minrathis. He looks to the two of you. Are you okay?
I don't know. I haven't had the chance to check what was under my bed. I just woke up.
Dorian looks at the scene. Like, he sees the rune, although it takes him a minute because it's no longer glowing. He heads to the book that Olivier left behind and picks it up. He recognizes it at once. It is the one that he brought with him from the Templar Order in Valrayo. And he says, This is the spell that he told us about, the one that separates the soul from the spirit.
So he was trying to separate me while I was sleeping.
It certainly seems that way.
But why?
I just sort of like look at Elian. Not everyone has favorable opinions about possession.
Well, no, I know that, but like...
Dorian says, I don't think this is just a matter of him not liking that you were possessed, Cassandra. Something like this. He ducks down again. You hadn't noticed it when you first came in, but he had also been holding a small, clear crystal, which he dropped on the floor. He picks it up and looks at it. He says, How much do we actually know about Olivier?
Pretty much nothing.
Right, we just picked him up, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any chance that he might have worked for a certain ne'er-do-well elf, perhaps?
Probably.
Of course.
I can't remember if I played it as Elian being at all suspicious of this, but I know Val was always suspicious of this. Like, we went along with him way too quickly.
Nobody said anything.
Nobody said anything. Yeah,
I'm
we're just
gonna
like,
say
hey.
horse shit.
Val felt at the time that this was like, we're trusting him too quickly, but I didn't say shit.
Didn't say anything.
I know
No
I
one
didn't.
said
I'm just
anything.
telling y'all.
Yeah, you can say that all you want, but you didn't do nothing.
Right. So he dropped a crystal, right?
Yep. Dorian picks it up and he looks at it, sniffs it, because why not? He says,
Yeah.
This very well could be something he was trying to contain faith in, if I had to guess, Cassandra.
I see.
And he says, Great, so we've had an agent of Solus in our estate for who knows how long now. Wonderful.
Yeah, I definitely, like, turned to look at Elian, though, and I'm like, I'm glad you came to find me when you did.
Dorian sighs, he says, Who wants to tell Lannon?
Oh, God.
You wake up, Sabre, in bed next to Lennon, who is still asleep because he hates mornings, and I will die on this hill. He does not like mornings.
I think the first thing I do is check to make sure he doesn't have, like, a Valsleen. Like, I'm like, scarred from that dream I had.
You don't want him to have a Valsleen, but that was a good dream.
I mean, it was, but also it was not real, so...
Yep, no Valsleen. He snores, but like in that quiet, cute snore, you know the kind I mean? Like a kitten snoring.
Yeah.
And also his hair looks awful. He needs to comb his hair.
I think I'm like smiling for a couple seconds, and then I slowly start to remember the conversation I had with Justice. Like, it's all coming back to me, and I just sort of quietly say to myself, fuck. And
right at that moment, the bedroom door slams open, and Dorian says, Ladder, we need to... Oh my god! And he like... What?
I like throw a sheet over my head.
Yep, it's Cassandra and Elian and Dorian.
Yeah.
Oh god, I regret all of this.
Right. I just sort of look at Elian and just like sort of raise my eyebrow like, well, someone had a good night.
I roll off the bed. I'm just like frantically searching for my pants.
Dorian's like, quick, someone give me 5 reasons not to kill him. Quickly!
We need him?
Yeah, that too. We need him. And also Lennon kiss first.
Lennon kind of sits up in bed, and again, like, this is the Dalish have different modesty rules, so he just kind of sits up in bed and glares, and he's like, the fuck is going on? Why are you in my bedroom? What time is it?
Get out!
Dorian says, no, don't kill him, don't kill him. And when he looks at you, Sabrina, he points 2 fingers at his own eyes, and one of you's like, I'm fucking watching you.
Just, like, roll my eyes exaggeratedly.
You were on my shit list. And Dorian strides right up to the foot of the bed and he says, Lennon, we have a problem. Hey friends, Tessa here. If you're desperate to hear the next episode, chances are good that you can by joining our Discord server. We post links to all episodes and pre-release, and you can even chat with us and listen live as we record. Join us by going to bit.ly/CFC Discord. For more information on the show, character biographies, and links to social media, head to our website, critfail.club or critfailclub.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. Crit Fail Club does not advertise at all, so if you like what you hear, tell a friend who might also like it, make a post on social media about it, or leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Full episodes are available on our YouTube channel, bit.ly/CFC channel, or wherever you get your podcasts.